I wasn't sure what the fuss was about until I snuggled up with this throw blanket, and wow, I'm hooked. I love its soft and cozy feel against my skin, wrapping me like a warm hug. The vibrant colors and design make it a statement piece in my living space, adding a touch of style and comfort. It's surprisingly lightweight, but still keeps me warm. Perfect for those lazy Netflix nights or chilly mornings. With the variety of sizes available, you can easily find the perfect fit for your couch or bed. Honestly, it's the perfect blend of function and fashion, and I can't imagine my home without it. This is more than just a blanket. It's a game changer for comfort lovers. Go get yours now.
The desert sands had settled. Moses, the great leader, was gone. The Israelites stood at the edge of a new chapter, a land promised by God. Leading them was Joshua, a man of courage and faith. God spoke to Joshua, "Be strong and very courageous." These words weren't just for Joshua. They were for the entire nation. A new era was beginning. Their destination was Canaan, a land flowing with milk and honey. But to get there, they would face many enemies and challenges. God promised Joshua, "I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you." God's presence would be their strength, their shield, and their guide. Before they could step foot in Canaan, a formidable obstacle stood in their way: the Jordan River. This river was not just any river, it was a natural barrier that seemed impossible to cross. It was the flood season, the river overflowing its banks. The water levels were at their highest, making the crossing even more treacherous. Imagine the rushing water, a powerful current, a daunting sight for any traveler. The sound of the water was deafening, and the sight was enough to instill fear. Joshua gathered the people. They needed provisions and courage. The journey ahead required them to be well prepared, both mentally and physically. They packed their belongings, prepared their food, and sharpened their swords. Every detail was attended to, ensuring nothing was left behind. Joshua told the people to consecrate themselves to God. This was a time for reflection and spiritual preparation. This meant setting themselves apart, turning their hearts towards God, and preparing for a mighty act. It was a call to deepen their faith and trust in divine guidance. He wanted them to be ready, not just physically, but spiritually as well. Their hearts needed to be in the right place for the miracle that was about to unfold. 3 days they waited, hearts filled with anticipation. Then, the command came. The moment they had been preparing for was finally here. The priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant were to lead the way. This was a significant moment as the Ark symbolized God's presence and guidance. This sacred chest represented God's presence among them. It was a powerful reminder of their faith and the promises made to them. It was a symbol of their faith and the covenant they had with Him. With the Ark leading the way, they were ready to face the challenge ahead, trusting in the divine promise. The priests, feet trembling perhaps, stepped into the raging river. What happened next was nothing short of a miracle. As soon as their feet touched the water, the river stopped flowing. Upstream, the water piled up like a wall. A path, dry ground, appeared before them. The Israelites crossed over on dry ground just like their ancestors had crossed the Red Sea. Can you imagine the scene? The awe, the wonder, the shouts of praise to God? Millions of people, along with their livestock and belongings, walking through the heart of a parted river. To commemorate this miracle, Joshua instructed 12 men, one from each tribe, to take 12 stones from the middle of the riverbed. These stones would be a reminder for generations to come of God's faithfulness, a reminder that even when things seem impossible, God can make a way. Section 4. A time for renewal and remembrance. Now on the other side of the Jordan, in the land of Canaan, the Israelites celebrated two significant events. First, all the men who had been born in the wilderness were circumcised. This was a sign of the covenant between God and His people, a visible reminder of their commitment to Him. Next, they celebrated Passover. This feast commemorated their deliverance from slavery in Egypt. It was a time to remember God's faithfulness and His mighty power to save. Here in this new land, surrounded by new challenges, they were reminded of God's faithfulness in the past. These events, the circumcision and the Passover, were not just empty rituals. They were outward expressions of their inward faith. They were declaring their dependence on God and their trust in His promises. Section 5. A divine encounter with the commander. One evening, as Joshua was scouting near the city of Jericho, he encountered a man standing with a drawn sword. The air was thick with tension, and the setting sun cast long shadows across the land. Joshua, ever vigilant and always ready for battle, approached the man and asked, "Are you for us, or for our enemies?" His voice was steady, but his heart raced with anticipation. The man replied, "Neither, for I am the commander of the Lord's army." His presence was overwhelming, and his words carried a weight that Joshua could not ignore. Joshua immediately fell face down in reverence and awe. He knew he was in the presence of a divine being, a messenger from God. This was no ordinary being. The light that surrounded the commander was otherworldly, and Joshua felt a profound sense of humility. This was a divine messenger, a manifestation of God Himself. The encounter left Joshua with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The commander then gave Joshua specific instructions for the Battle of Jericho. These were not just ordinary tactics but divine strategies that required faith and obedience. He was to tell the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant around the city once a day for 6 days. This sacred act was to be a testament to their faith and trust in God's plan. On the 7th day, they were to march around the city 7 times. The repetition was symbolic, a ritual that would culminate in a miraculous event. Then, at the sound of the trumpet, the people were to shout, and the walls of Jericho would crumble down. This divine plan was a testament to the power of faith and the might of God's will. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. To support this channel, visit our Christian-themed store at BibleTales963.store. Every purchase really helps to bring you more content. Section 6. The Battle of Jericho, a strategy of faith. The battle plan for Jericho seemed strange, even foolish. The soldiers were puzzled, their faces filled with doubt and confusion. Marching around a city, blowing trumpets? It was an unusual strategy, one that defied conventional military tactics. Where was the military strategy in that? The soldiers questioned their orders, unsure of the plan's effectiveness. But Joshua knew this was not a battle of human strength, but of obedience to God. He was confident and unwavering in his faith. For 6 days, the Israelite army marched silently around the city. Their discipline and silence were a testament to their faith. The priests carried the Ark of the Covenant, the symbol of God's presence, and 7 priests blew trumpets. The sound echoed through the city. Each day, they circled the city once, then returned to their camp. The routine was the same, but their faith grew stronger. Can you imagine the anticipation building, the faith growing stronger with each passing day? The soldiers' hope was palpable. On the 7th day, they rose early and marched around the city 7 times. The tension was high, and the air was thick with expectation. Then, at Joshua's command, the priests blew a long blast on the trumpets, and the people shouted with a great shout. Their voices rang out in unison. And just as God had promised, the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. The impossible had become possible through faith and obedience. Section 7. Lessons from the Promised Land. The story of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho is more than just an ancient historical account. It's a timeless story of faith, obedience, and the power of God's promises. It teaches us that when we trust in God and follow His commands, even the most impossible obstacles can be overcome. Just like the Israelites crossing the Jordan and conquering Jericho, we too will face challenges and giants in our lives. But the lessons from Joshua remind us that God is with us, just as He was with Joshua. So let us be strong and courageous, just like Joshua. Let us trust in God's promises and obey His commands. And let us remember that even when the walls seem high and the obstacles seem insurmountable, with God on our side, victory is always within reach.
After the death of Moses, God chose Joshua to lead the Israelites into the Promised Land. Joshua was a strong and courageous leader. He trusted God completely. He knew God would help him conquer the land. God promised Joshua that He would be with him every step of the way. God told Joshua to be strong and courageous. He told Joshua not to be afraid. God would give Joshua victory over his enemies. Joshua led the Israelites across the Jordan River. The river miraculously stopped flowing. This allowed the Israelites to walk across on dry ground. This miracle showed Joshua and the Israelites that God was with them. The Israelites were ready to conquer the land God had promised them. They were ready to fight for their future. They knew God would give them victory. The Israelites faced their first battle in Canaan at Jericho. God gave them a miraculous victory. He told them to march around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they marched around 7 times. Then the priests blew their trumpets and the people shouted. The walls of Jericho came tumbling down. After Jericho, the Israelites went to capture the city of Ai. They were confident because of their victory at Jericho. However, they were defeated at Ai. This defeat shocked the Israelites. They had never lost a battle before. Joshua prayed to God for understanding. God told Joshua that someone had sinned. A man named Achan had taken some of the things from Jericho. God had commanded the Israelites to destroy everything in Jericho. Achan disobeyed God. Achan's sin had consequences for the whole nation. Because of Achan's sin, Israel was defeated at Ai. This teaches us that sin has consequences. Sin affects not only us, but also those around us. God told Joshua how to defeat Ai. First, Achan and his family were punished for their sin. They were stoned to death and their possessions burned. Then, God gave Joshua a plan to defeat Ai. Joshua chose 30,000 soldiers. He sent them out at night to hide behind the city. The next morning, Joshua took a smaller group of soldiers to attack Ai. The men of Ai chased after Joshua and his men. They left the city unprotected. When the men of Ai were far from the city, the Israelite soldiers who were hiding came out. They captured the city and set it on fire. The men of Ai saw the smoke from their city. They were trapped. The Israelites defeated Ai and killed all the people in the city. God gave the Israelites victory at Ai because they obeyed him. This victory taught the Israelites the importance of obedience. It showed them that God would bless them when they followed his commands. The news of Israel's victories spread throughout the land. The people were afraid of the Israelites and their God. One group of people, the Gibeonites, decided to trick the Israelites. The Gibeonites dressed in old clothes and worn-out sandals. They brought moldy bread and old wineskins. They pretended to be travelers from a distant land. They went to Joshua and asked him to make a peace treaty with them. Joshua and the Israelites believed the Gibeonites. They made a treaty with them and promised not to harm them. 3 days later, the Israelites discovered that the Gibeonites were their neighbors. They had been tricked. Joshua kept his promise to the Gibeonites. He did not attack them. However, he made them servants. They had to cut wood and carry water for the Israelites. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. To support this channel, visit our Christian-themed store at BibleTales963.store. Every purchase really helps to bring you more content. When the other kings in the land heard about the Gibeonites, they were angry. 5 kings joined together to attack Gibeon. The Gibeonites sent a message to Joshua asking for help. Joshua and the Israelite army marched all night to help the Gibeonites. God told Joshua not to be afraid. He promised to give the Israelites victory. The Israelites attacked the 5 kings and their armies. During the battle, Joshua prayed to God. He asked God to make the sun stand still. God answered Joshua's prayer. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and did not move for a whole day. This gave the Israelites enough time to defeat their enemies. The 5 kings tried to hide in a cave. Joshua commanded his men to roll large stones over the mouth of the cave. Later, he had the kings brought out of the cave. Joshua killed the 5 kings and hung their bodies on trees. This victory showed the power of God fighting for his people. Joshua continued to conquer the land of Canaan. He defeated king after king. He destroyed their cities and their idols. Joshua obeyed God's command to drive out the inhabitants of the land. One of the greatest battles was against King Jabin of Hazor. Jabin gathered many kings and their armies to fight against Israel. They had many chariots and horses. The Israelite army was much smaller, but Joshua trusted in God. God told Joshua not to be afraid. He promised to give Israel the victory. The Israelites attacked their enemies at a place called the Waters of Merom. God sent a hailstorm that killed many of the Canaanite soldiers. The Israelites chased their enemies and destroyed them. Joshua and the Israelites conquered the entire northern part of Canaan. They burned Hazor to the ground. They defeated all the kings. They showed that God was with them. He gave them victory over their enemies. Joshua led the Israelites in conquering the Promised Land. He obeyed God's commands. God gave Joshua victory in every battle. These victories showed the power of God fighting for his people. Joshua's life and leadership teach us many important lessons. We learn about the importance of faith, courage, and obedience. We see how God rewards those who trust and obey him. Joshua's story reminds us that God keeps his promises. God had promised Abraham that his descendants would inherit the land of Canaan. God kept his promise. He gave the land to the Israelites through Joshua. The book of Joshua is a testament to the faithfulness of God. It is a story of victory and conquest. It is a reminder that God is with us in every battle. He will give us the victory if we trust and obey him.
Struggling to find that perfect Christian gift? Look no further. From stylish Christian apparel to heartwarming gifts and children's Bibles, BibleTales963.store's got it all. Whether you're looking to elevate your wardrobe, find that perfect present, or nurture your child's faith, we've got you covered. Hurry on over and grab at least 3 of our must-have items before they're all gone. Remember, BibleTales963.store. Express your faith, elevate your style. Shop now.
The book of Joshua picks up where Moses left off. The Israelites, after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, were finally ready to enter the Promised Land. Under Joshua's leadership, they crossed the Jordan River and began the conquest of Canaan. God had promised this land to Abraham and his descendants. Now the time had come to claim their inheritance. The division of the land was a significant event in Israel's history. It marked the beginning of their life as a settled people in the land God had promised them. The chapters of Joshua 13 to 18 describe this monumental task of dividing the Promised Land among the 12 tribes of Israel. The process was not without its challenges, as some areas remained unconquered. Yet, through it all, God's faithfulness to his promises was evident. The division of the land served as a powerful reminder of God's faithfulness. It also set the stage for the next phase of Israel's story. Even after the initial conquests, there were still significant portions of the land that remained unconquered. Joshua 13 provides a detailed account of these areas. The Philistines, a powerful and persistent enemy, controlled the coastal plains. The Geshurites, Avites, and Sidonians occupied territories in the north. The Gebalites, known for their maritime skill, held sway along the coast. Parts of Lebanon, with its towering cedar forests, also remained outside Israelite control. These unconquered territories served as a reminder to the Israelites. They still had work to do. The presence of these enemies tested their faith. Would they trust God to deliver them fully into the Promised Land? Or would they be content with only a partial inheritance? The unconquered territories also presented a challenge for future generations. They would have to continue the fight to possess the entirety of the land God had promised. Before entering Canaan, 2.5 tribes, Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh, had received their inheritance east of the Jordan River. Moses had granted them this land on the condition that they would join their brothers in the conquest of Canaan. These tribes, known for their livestock and their fighting men, were eager to fulfill their part of the covenant. Joshua 13 reiterates the boundaries of these territories. It details their victories over Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan. These victories demonstrated God's power and faithfulness. They also highlighted the courage and strength of these tribes. The land east of the Jordan, though often overlooked, played a vital role in Israel's history. It served as a buffer zone against enemies from the east. It also provided valuable grazing land for the tribe's flocks and herds. Section 4. Caleb's Inheritance, a Promise Fulfilled. Caleb, a man of unwavering faith, stands out in the account of the land division. 45 years earlier, he had been one of the 12 spies sent by Moses to scout out the land. While 10 of the spies returned with a negative report filled with fear and doubt, Caleb and Joshua urged the people to trust God and enter the land boldly. Because of his faithfulness, God promised Caleb a specific portion of land, Hebron. Now, at the age of 85, Caleb came before Joshua to claim his inheritance. His request was not for an easy portion, but for the hill country where the formidable Anakites lived. Caleb's faith had not wavered. He believed that God would give him victory, even in his old age. Joshua, honoring Caleb's faithfulness, granted him his request. Caleb's story serves as a powerful reminder that God honors those who trust in him. His inheritance, won through faith and courage, became a symbol of God's faithfulness to his promises. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. To support this channel, visit our Christian-themed store at BibleTales963.store. Every purchase really helps to bring you more content. Section 5. Judah's Portion, a land of blessings and challenges. Judah, the tribe from which King David and ultimately Jesus would descend, received a significant portion of land. Their territory stretched from the Dead Sea in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. It encompassed the fertile lowlands of the Shephelah, the rugged hill country, and the desolate wilderness of the Negev. Joshua 15 meticulously outlines the boundaries of Judah's inheritance. It lists the numerous cities and towns within its borders. This detailed description highlights the size and importance of Judah's inheritance. It also underscores the meticulous care with which the land was divided. However, Judah's inheritance was not without its challenges. The Jebusites, a stubborn and resourceful enemy, continued to hold the fortress city of Jerusalem. Despite their best efforts, the men of Judah were unable to drive them out. Jerusalem, destined to become the capital of Israel, remained a thorn in Judah's side for many years to come. Section 6. Ephraim and Manasseh. Joseph's legacy divided. Ephraim and Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, received their inheritance in the Central Highlands. Ephraim, the younger son, received the firstborn's portion as a sign of Jacob's blessing on Joseph. Their territories, described in detail in Joshua 16 and 17, were intertwined. This close proximity reflected their shared lineage and their common destiny as part of the nation of Israel. Both tribes faced challenges in fully conquering their allotted lands. Ephraim struggled to subdue the Canaanite stronghold of Gezer, a city strategically located on the border between their territory and the coastal plain. Manasseh encountered fierce resistance from Canaanite cities equipped with iron chariots, a technological advantage that made them formidable opponents. Despite these challenges, Ephraim and Manasseh established themselves in their allotted territories. They grew in number and strength, eventually becoming two of the most influential tribes in Israel. Section 7. Dividing the remaining land, a testament to God's faithfulness. With Judah, Ephraim, and Manasseh settled in their inheritances, 7 tribes remained without land. To ensure a fair and orderly distribution, Joshua instructed each tribe to send 3 representatives to survey the remaining land. These men, chosen for their integrity and their knowledge of the land, were to divide the territory into 7 portions. Once the survey was complete, the tribes gathered at Shiloh, the temporary center of worship, for the final allocation of the land. Lots were cast before the Lord, acknowledging his sovereignty and his guidance in the process. Benjamin, the youngest tribe, received their inheritance first. Their territory, nestled between Judah and Joseph, was strategically located. The remaining tribes, Simeon, Zebulun, Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and Dan, received their inheritances in turn. The division of the land was a testament to God's faithfulness to his promises. It marked the beginning of a new era for the Israelites. They were no longer wandering nomads, but a settled people living in the land God had promised to their forefathers.
After the conquest of Canaan, it was time to divide the land among the tribes of Israel. Joshua oversaw this important task. Simeon's land was located within the territory of Judah. Zebulun received land in the north. Issachar's land was located in the Jezreel Valley. Asher received land along the Mediterranean coast. Naphtali's territory was located in the north. Dan's territory was originally in the south but moved north due to struggles with the Amorites. Joshua himself received Timnath-Serah in Ephraim. The division of the land marked the fulfillment of God's promise to give the land of Canaan to the Israelites. Each tribe received a portion of land that would sustain them. The land was rich in resources, providing for their needs. The division of the land ensured that each tribe had a place to call home. It fostered a sense of belonging and identity among the Israelites.
the division of the land also served as a reminder of God's faithfulness. The process of dividing the land wasn't without its challenges. Some tribes faced opposition from the Canaanites who remained, others had to adjust to new territories. But through it all, the Israelites persevered. They trusted in God's guidance. They established themselves in their new homes. The division of the land marked a new chapter in the history of Israel. They were ready to build a nation that honored God. God instructed Joshua to establish cities of refuge. These cities provided safety for those who accidentally killed someone. 6 cities were designated as cities of refuge, 3 on each side of the Jordan River. These cities were strategically placed to ensure accessibility. The cities of refuge served an important purpose. They provided a fair and just system for dealing with unintentional killings. In ancient Israel, the family of a murder victim had the right to avenge their death. However, if the killing was accidental, the person responsible could flee to a city of refuge. There, they would be protected from the avenger of blood and receive a fair hearing. The cities of refuge were a testament to God's mercy and justice. They recognized that not all killings were intentional. They ensured that justice was served without unnecessary bloodshed. The Levites were set apart for God's service. They did not receive a land inheritance like the other tribes. Instead, God provided for them through the Levitical cities. These cities were scattered throughout the territories of the other tribes. This ensured that the Levites were integrated into Israelite society. A total of 48 cities were given to the Levites, including surrounding pasture land. The Levitical cities were divided among the 3 Levitical families, the Gershonites, the Kohathites, and the Merarites. The provision of the Levitical cities demonstrated God's care for his servants. It ensured that those who dedicated their lives to his service were provided for. It allowed the Levites to focus on their spiritual duties. It strengthened the spiritual foundation of the nation. The Levites played a crucial role in maintaining the spiritual health of Israel. After the land was divided, the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh returned to their territories east of the Jordan River. Before they left, they built a large altar near the Jordan, causing concern among the other tribes. The western tribes feared this altar represented a departure from God and prepared for war. The eastern tribes sent representatives to explain their actions. They assured them that the altar was not intended for sacrifices, but as a memorial. It was a testament to their loyalty to the God of Israel. The eastern tribes feared future generations might question their loyalty due to the Jordan River separating them. The altar was a visible reminder of their faithfulness and unity with their brethren across the river. The western tribes were relieved to hear this explanation and rejoiced in the unity of Israel. The altar served as a powerful symbol of their shared faith and commitment to God. It became known as the Altar of Witness. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. To support this channel, visit our Christian-themed store at BibleTales963.store. Every purchase really helps to bring you more content. As Joshua grew old, he gathered the leaders of Israel together to give them his farewell address. He reminded them of God's faithfulness and urged them to remain faithful to the covenant. He warned them against the dangers of idolatry and encouraged them to serve God with all their hearts. Joshua recounted the history of Israel, emphasizing God's faithfulness throughout their journey. He warned the Israelites about the dangers of turning away from God and the consequences of disobedience. He urged them to put away any foreign gods and serve the Lord with undivided loyalty. Joshua's farewell address was a powerful reminder of God's faithfulness. It was a passionate plea for Israel to remain true to the covenant. His words echoed the heart of a leader who loved God. They served as a guide for the nation as they entered a new era. Joshua's legacy was a call to faithfulness and obedience to God. After his farewell address, Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel at Shechem to renew the covenant with God. This was a significant moment for the nation, a time to reflect on their past and reaffirm their commitment to God. Joshua recounted God's faithfulness to Israel, starting with Abraham. He reminded them of God's promise to Abraham and his deliverance from Egypt. He recounted the conquest of Canaan and emphasized God's constant love and care for his people. Joshua challenged the people to choose whom they would serve. He reminded them that they could not serve both God and the gods of the Canaanites. He declared his own commitment to serve the Lord and urged the people to do the same. The people responded with a resounding affirmation, declaring their allegiance to the Lord. They promised to serve him alone and renewed the covenant their ancestors had made with God at Mount Sinai. To commemorate this solemn occasion, Joshua set up a large stone under a terebinth tree. It served as a witness to the covenant they had renewed. It stood as a reminder of their commitment to serve the Lord. After a long and fruitful life, Joshua died at the age of 110. He was buried at Timnath-Serah in the land that God had given him. Eleazar the priest, son of Aaron, also died and was buried at Gibeah. These two great leaders had served God faithfully and led Israel into the Promised Land. Their legacy lived on. Before his death, Joseph had made the Israelites promise to bury his bones in the Promised Land. After the conquest of Canaan, they carried his bones from Egypt and buried them at Shechem. This fulfilled Joseph's wish and demonstrated God's faithfulness to his people. After the deaths of Joshua and Eleazar, a new generation arose. The elders of Israel, who had witnessed God's mighty acts, continued to serve the people and remind them of God's faithfulness. The book of Joshua ends with a reminder that although the conquest of Canaan was complete, the battle for the hearts of the Israelites continued.